Look, I know what you're thinking. We've all seen 1,000 videos of people throwing steel balls at this thing or trying to scratch it with a kitchen knife. But it's 2026, and the honeymoon phase for the Cybertruck is officially over. The Foundation series hype has died down, the celebrity Instagram posts have stopped, and we're left with the actual reality of living with this stainless steel monolith. Today, I'm not just going to show you the 0 to 60 times, which, by the way, are still terrifying in the Cyberbeast. I'm going to tell you why this truck is currently the most controversial thing on four wheels, for reasons nobody is talking about. We're diving into the secret updates Tesla quietly slipped into the 2026 model, the fingerprint nightmare that owners are finally admitting to, and why this truck is starting to feel less like a vehicle and more like a subscription service you can't cancel. If you think you know this truck, stick around, because the 2026 reality is a lot weirder than the 2024 dream. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the invisible update. For 2026, Tesla hasn't changed the geometry. It's still that same low-poly Blade Runner dream, but they've done something to the steer-by-wire system that changes everything. If you drove a 2024 or 2025, you know it felt a bit like playing a video game with a slight lag. In this 2026 version, the variable ratio has been tuned to the point where this 6,000-pound beast feels more nimble than a Model 3 in a tight parking lot. It's eerie. You barely turn the yoke, and the rear-wheel steering kicks in so aggressively you'd swear the truck was shrinking. But here's the clickbait truth. It's actually too good. I've talked to owners who say they're actually getting motion sickness from how fast the truck pivots. It's a level of maneuverability that defies physics, and honestly, it takes a week just to recalibrate your brain so you don't curb those massive 20-inch cyber wheels. Now, why does this matter? Because in 2026, the Cybertruck isn't just a gimmick anymore. It's competing with the updated Rivians and the electric Ford F-150s. While those trucks feel like, well, trucks, the Cybertruck feels like a fighter jet on wheels. The variable steering means at 80 miles per hour, the steering is stiff and rock solid, but at 5 miles per hour, you can do a U-turn in a space that would make a Mini Cooper jealous. It's brilliant engineering, but it's also a reminder that Tesla is constantly patching the driving experience. You aren't just buying a car, you're buying a piece of hardware that Tesla is still figuring out how to calibrate.
Inside, the 2026 cabin is still that surgical suite aesthetic. You've got the massive 18.5-inch Infinity display up front and that 9.4-inch screen in the back that's basically a babysitter for your kids. But the real story for 2026 is the vault. Tesla finally fixed the seals on the motorized tonneau cover. Early models were notorious for letting in a bit of dust and rain, effectively turning your vault into a slightly damp metal box. Now it's airtight. You can throw $5,000 worth of camera gear back there in a monsoon and it'll stay bone dry. But let's get real about the interior materials. Tesla calls it durable, but after 2 years of heavy use, we're seeing where the corners were cut. The vegan leather, or high-grade plastic, depending on how cynical you are, holds up well against spills, but the sheer lack of physical buttons is starting to grate on people. In 2026, we've reached peak screen. Want to adjust your mirrors? Screen. Want to open the glove box? Screen. Even the gear selector is on the screen. It's sleek, yes, but when you're trying to three-point turn in a busy intersection and the screen lag hits for just a second, it's the most stressful second of your life. And let's mention the power share feature. In 2026, the software is finally seamless. This truck isn't just a vehicle, it's a 123 kilowatt-hour giant power bank. We're seeing more people use these to power their entire off-grid cabins for 3 days straight. It's the ultimate prepper flex, but it's also the most practical feature the truck has. You've got 11.5 kilowatts of total output. You can literally run a circular saw, a fridge, and a microwave at the same time while you're camping. It makes the traditional work truck from Ford or Chevy look like a toy. But here is the catch. Using the truck as a house battery degrades the cells. Tesla won't tell you that in the brochure, but if you're power sharing every weekend, your 325-mile range is going to start looking like 280 real fast. Now we have to talk about the stainless fatigue. After 2 years on the road, the 2026 Cybertrucks are starting to show a different kind of wear. Tesla told us this 30x cold-rolled stainless steel wouldn't dent, and it doesn't, but the patina is real. If you don't wrap this truck, you are basically driving a giant refrigerator that remembers every single person who touched it. The fingerprints, the road salt, the weird rainbowing that happens near the coastal air, it's a detailer's worst nightmare. I've seen 2026 models that look like they've been through a war zone simply because the owner didn't want to spend $6,000 on a matte black wrap. There's no clear coat, there's no paint to buff. If you get a deep scratch, you don't go to a body shop, you go to a hardware store and get a specialized abrasive pad. It's the only vehicle on Earth where the maintenance involves sanding your door panels. It's weird, it's industrial, and quite frankly, it's exhausting. Let's talk performance, because this is where the 2026 Cyberbeast still shuts everyone up. 3 motors, 845 horsepower, and a 0 to 60 time of 2.6 seconds. In a truck! That shouldn't be legal. When you floor it, the front end lifts slightly, the tires scream for mercy, and your internal organs relocate to your spine. It's faster than a Porsche 911 Turbo S off the line. But in 2026, we have to ask, why? Most owners have realized that beast mode is a party trick you use 3 times to impress your friends, and then you never touch it again because it eats your tires for breakfast. Those custom Goodyear tires are expensive, and they aren't exactly stocked at your local Pep Boys. I've seen owners burning through a set of rubber in 8,000 miles because they can't resist the launch control. It's a pay-to-play system that gets very expensive very quickly.
And then there's the FSD reality check. By 2026, Tesla's full self-driving is supposed to be perfect, right? Well, in this 2026 build, the hardware is there, but the size of the truck makes the AI nervous. Watching this massive, angular beast try to navigate a narrow European-style street or a tight construction zone is like watching a bodybuilder try to walk through a china shop. It's impressive, but you'll have your hands hovering over that yoke the entire time. The truck's cameras are top tier, and the hidden front camera with the washer nozzle is a godsend for off-roading, but the AI still struggles with the Cybertruck's dimensions. It doesn't quite realize how wide those hips are. I've seen the FSD try to take turns that would have absolutely shredded the stainless steel if the driver hadn't intervened. It's a reminder that while the Cybertruck is a computer on wheels, the world it lives in was built for dumb cars. Let's get into the towing, because this is where the truck people usually start laughing. Tesla claims 11,000 pounds of towing capacity, and physically it can do it. The torque is instant, and unlike a diesel truck, you don't feel the weight as much when you're pulling away from a light. But the range? Oh boy, if you hook up a 7,000-pound trailer to this thing in 2026, your 325-mile range drops to about 110 miles. If you're towing a boat to the local lake, fine. If you're trying to cross the state, you are going to be spending more time at superchargers than you are on the road. And here's the kicker. Most superchargers aren't pull-through. That means you have to unhook your trailer, park the truck, charge, then rehook the trailer every single time. It's a massive pain in the neck that Tesla still hasn't fully solved for. So where does that leave us in 2026? The Cybertruck has transitioned from a look-at-me celebrity car to a legitimate workhorse that just happens to look like a UFO. It's more reliable than the early 2024 units, the software is light years ahead, and the sheer utility of the vault and the power outlets is unmatched. But you have to ask yourself, are you ready for the attention? Even in 2026, people still stop and stare. They still film you at stoplights. Some people still give you the thumbs down because of the politics associated with the brand. It's a polarizing experience that never ends. You aren't just buying a truck, you're joining a side in a culture war. If you want the most advanced, toughest, and most internet-integrated truck ever made, This is it. It's a masterpiece of why not engineering. But if you hate fingerprints, if you hate range anxiety while towing, and if you hate being the center of attention every time you go to buy low for milk, you might want to stick to a traditional pickup. The Cybertruck is the future, but as we've learned by 2026, the future is a little more complicated and a lot more smudged than we thought. Thanks for sticking with me through the deep dive. The 2026 Cybertruck is a beast, but it's a beast with a lot of baggage. What do you think? Is the stainless steel dream finally dead, or is this just the beginning of the electric revolution? Drop a comment below. I actually read them, and I want to know if you'd ever daily drive one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more no BS reviews. I'll see you in the next one.